there, I'm Sandra Lett, and I'm so happy to be teaching you on a video today how to use counterculture resin. I have been using it for quite some time and I'm quite in love with it, and so I just wanted to show you what you can start out with as a beginner and have great results. So I would recommend buying at least a 16-ounce size, and with making successful resin, you need exact amounts of resin of equal parts by volume, not by weight. So that means if you're going to mix 10 ounces of resin, then you need 5 ounces of each part. And so you measure it by volume, not by the weight. You can start with this size. It's a great size. This will make you several sets of coasters. It would make at least 4 sets of 4 coasters if you're starting and you're wanting to know how much to make. I go for the big stuff. And this is my all-time favorite. It is the medium viscosity artist resin. It is the bomb for making coasters and resin trays and freeform pieces. It sets up fairly quickly. You usually have about a 30 to 40 minute working time. You can unmold usually within 8 hours, and it cures and sets up in a very quick period. So it is my all-time favorite resin of choice to use. It's also heat resistant to 500 degrees, and that's very important for those of you making coasters. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to talk about is safety. You can either wear a full face mask or safety glasses and a mask that covers your nose and mouth that has some filters in it. Just always be careful. Even though there are no VOCs in this product, it's always better to be safe. I keep a window open, a small fan going, keep the air ventilation kind of flowing. It's just better to be on the safe side. I'm also going to wear my gloves. For heating the resin to get out bubbles, I have a regular heat torch. I have a low temp heat gun that's only 300 degrees, but it blows out a little bit more air. I have a regular torch. And then I also keep a bottle of 91% isopropyl alcohol. You want to make sure that this is a topical alcohol that is okay to touch it on your skin. I keep it in a spray bottle to spritz for bubbles. I like to keep a pair of tweezers around to pick out any dust or hairs that might fall. I highly recommend the Counterculture silicone mat. It is fantastic for those drips. They just peel off when it's over with. Today I'm going to be using the Geode No. 3 coaster mold. They have 4 different shapes. This one is the most round. It's irregular, but it's round, and it's my favorite because it works great for flower shapes and that kind of thing. Each of these holds 2 ounces, and the way that you can figure out how much resin a mold will hold, just take something that has your measurements and fill it with water, and then pour it into your mold, and then deduct however much you've poured out, and that will tell you how much that you can put into a mold. And then of course make sure your mold is completely dry and has no water or moisture in it before you use it. Also, it's great to keep something like frog tape around. Make sure there's nothing that's dropped into the mold's hair, or like in my case glitter or anything else that might be around me on my art table. What you're going to do is you're going to take equal parts A and B. For these coasters I need 8 ounces, so I'm going to mix probably 9 or 10 ounces just to have a little extra, and then I always just pour the extra into, let's say, the earring molds that they have. And I make jewelry with the leftover resin or foam grip holder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour equal parts A and B up to the top in this 5-ounce cup, and then put it into a 12-ounce cup, and I'll have about 10 ounces in a 12-ounce cup. I'm going to mix that for 6 minutes. I like to use a stir stick. Some people like to use the small, skinny things. And I constantly scrape around the edges as I'm mixing, constantly scraping, And I also scrape off my stick. You will see that. That makes sure that all your equal parts get mixed in together and there's nothing left clinging to the sides or separating that would keep your resin from curing perfectly. So I'm going to fast forward through the next several minutes of mixing. I put part B in first, which is the thinner, and I put it in first, and then the thicker part is part A. I pour it into the thinner portion, and at first it's going to look milky or cloudy, and as you mix it, it will clear up, and you will have some little micro bubbles, but you can put it in a warm water bath if you want to. I typically don't and don't have any issues. So I'm going to get back to mixing. But also when you start, don't feel like you have to mix super fast. It's not about how fast you mix, it's how thorough. So you can go slow, just be very thorough about how you mix and continually go around those sides as you mix. Okay, so I've mixed 6 minutes, and I like to keep a timer going for how long it's been since I mixed it, because you do have a working time. I just like to keep a timer going on the side to remind me of how much time I have. So I'm going to mix up probably a half an ounce of white, about a half an ounce or so of a pearlescent color, and I want probably about, it's probably too much, maybe an ounce. I also keep baby wipes around. They're fabulous. Baby wipes are so great to have while you're working with resin. Okay, in the darkest color, I want just a very slight, this is the dispersion color, blue sapphire. Make sure it's shaken up. Just put in a little bit first and stir it in. It just takes a small drop, especially in an ounce or less. You really don't need a ton of it. I don't have to use this. I can use it in another mold, so that's still a little bit transparent. That's good. I want to put a little bit here of Bora Bora mica, which is a beautiful turquoise, shimmering turquoise. Stir that in and see what that looks like. I want it to be pretty shimmery. That's very beautiful. I'll put just a little bit more. This is a tiny, tiny little scoop. I didn't get a full scoop there, so it's basically about 2 scoops of that. That's very lovely. Okay. And then for my second color, I'm going to use white. So this is Armor Art epoxy pigment paste. Put a healthy squeeze of that. I want to make sure it's not too transparent, so just a little bit more. And to that, I'm going to add this mica pearl shimmer, which has an iridescent kind of violet blue shimmer to it. 1 healthy scoop into that. And that gives that a little bit of sparkle. This one is going to be my medium tone color, and I'm going to put this same pearl shimmer. Put 2 scoops into that, and that's not even an ounce. So if you can see that, there's just a shimmery blue-purple color. I'm going to take some purple alcohol ink, a couple of drops, and that is really powerful. Didn't mean for it to be quite that powerful, but that's okay. I'm going to take the Bora Bora which I had used in the dark. I'm going to put a scoop of that in. Do one more scoop. So there's the dark color. So there's my 3 colors. Move them off the side for a minute. So I'm going to pour. The other thing I want to do is just check to make sure I'm level. You can also spritz with alcohol, and you can also go around the edge with a toothpick just to kind of help any air bubbles that might be collecting. I've got 2 dried flower petals that I'm going to lay down in the resin. Got some coral reef glitter. You can take a toothpick and kind of move it around a bit if you need to. You can kind of come out from behind the flower a little bit. Make sure it's not totally sitting on the surface, but this is going to be the back side of your coaster anyway. So now what we're going to do, stir, and our resin is warmed up. It's been 20 minutes since I've mixed it. You can put it into a piping bag. You can transfer it into a piping bag, which actually gives you more control, so I think I'm going to do that. So what I do is I just take a bigger cup. You can also use a Ziploc bag. You can do it from your cup, but more resin is going to come out when you're using your cup. So if I'm going to pipe anything, I like to do it pretty much if I want a thinner line with the piping bag. So you just get your resin shaken down to the very corner of your bag. Same difference with a Ziploc bag. I'm going to do this with the piping bag, and I'll do the others in the cups. So we're going to cut off just the tip of the bag. It's good to put your finger underneath to catch. So I use paper cups so that I can bend it and make a spout. I also have beakers that I love to use, plastic beakers that look like this. And they're great for getting resin out when it's dry. Silicone kind of leaves it beaded up inside, whereas plastic, it just cures and then you can kind of bend the cup a little bit and it'll crack and release very easily. I'm going to do this one next. Make it come to a point, and then you get to the other place where you started, stop it with your finger. Then I do the white. Like I said, that's why I like to use a piping bag. Okay, so I'm going to cover it. You can cover it with anything. I actually get these little food net tents and I'm going to put it right over it to protect it from any dust, and I'll be back for unmolding. Okay, It's been actually about 6 hours or so, and you can touch them. They're not tacky or anything, so I'm gonna unmold. Here we go. The shimmer is really lovely. Are you ready? Can't wait to see what it looks like. I had no clue. Oh, that's quite lovely. It's kind of in layers. So that worked out pretty well. They're pretty on either side. So there's the one with the kind of turquoise petals, and there's the kind of daisy looking one. Beautiful. Fabulous molds. I love the molds. Pretty. Pretty. Oh, I love them. I'll show a picture of the mountain that daylight as well. And that was the one little pop socket that I poured. It's just kind of just blue colors on the other side, but it has a little feathery kind of look. And then I had some clear left, and I threw a bunch of glitter into it. So there's a little sunflower sunshine shape etched in, and I'll put some etching paint into that. So these turned out lovely. This is the first time I've done this kind of style, and I wasn't real sure how it would turn out, but I'm super pleased. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and have a great time making beautiful creations with your counterculture resin. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.